I'm saying this is a reality. Well, look, brother, maybe we can get together instead of having an African festival about consumerism, that we can take this money and build an institution in the community so you all can keep robbing us like the Arabs and the Jews.
Wow.
Did you see those nice dashikis, brother? I give them to you half off. So you tell me what's the difference between a Chinaman and an Arab who got the same mentality.
Right.
They don't see themselves as being black, and they see themselves as African. So they pimp us. Do you understand the point I'm making? If they saw themselves as being black and not being Ghanaian, of not being of this Nigerian, of not being of this culture, if they saw themselves as being black, then we could unify as black people and change our condition, throw off white supremacy, imperialism, white nationalism, we can throw it off. But as long as they see themselves as African and not black, black is something to be exploited. You just a nigger, give me your money. You don't know nothing about African, give me your damn money. Do you see what I'm making? I'm not making this up. This is the reality.
Guys,
they don't see themselves as being black. But if they saw themselves as being black, Fela, who's in Nigeria, who saw herself as being black, who put Malcolm X as one of the Orishas.
His love then was music, not politics. In his generation, African consciousness would suffer a strange detour through the Black American movement. The whole black world shared the dream of Martin Luther King. A few months later, Kennedy was assassinated.
This nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
In 1969, Fela sails for the United States. He'll stay 10 months. Black power is at its peak after the disappointment of the various civil rights movements, the Watts riots, the assassination of Martin Luther King. In Los Angeles, Fela reads the autobiography of Malcolm X over and over again. He wants to become a hero, a black hero. He writes his first protest songs. Across the ocean, 3,800 miles away from home, Fela discovers Africa. When Fela returns to Nigeria, the Biafra War is raging. It will go on for 2.5 years and leave 1 million dead among the ruins. As wars go, this one is particularly absurd. The division of Africa among the colonialist powers failed to consider ethnic frontiers. The Biafran rebels attempt to secede only to be ruthlessly subdued by federal forces.
Yes, sir.
Fela's mistrust of new African governments, especially that of Nigeria, is born from this war. It's a mistrust that will soon grow into open war.
In many Islam, they are only artificial religions, artificial. And the reason why Islam and Christianity is spread all over Africa, we know, is to exploit the people. All Christians think like white, like European, like English and Americans, and all Muslim people think like Arabs. fighting the African minds from their roots, that's all, you know. And Africans, you see, they must have the original one. And somebody must spread the knowledge of this. And I think I have the knowledge. The whole thing is that this world is a world of higher forces, and people must realize it. And you do it by yourself in your home, by knowledge of your culture, or your background of your family, or your people. It's not through Christianity or Muslim. They're deceiving the people.
When Fela began to preach a return to traditional religion, it was in search of a deeper African identity. It was a cultural provocation, an intellectual move. But in the spring of 1981, the spirits really visited Fela's house. Since this revelation, a dialogue with the other world takes place every day. At the shrine, around 2 in the morning, right in the middle of the show, Fela suddenly asks for silence and performs a rite on behalf of the main Yoruba spirits, Shango, Ogun, Ifa. The same great spirits that are found in America, in voodoo, in Afro-Cuban and Brazilian cults. On the altar, there are also the portraits of Malcolm X, of Nkrumah, the hero of African independence, and also that of Fela's own mother, who since her death has become the spirit of rain.
Who's in Nigeria, who saw herself as being black,
Femi.
who put Malcolm X as one of the Orishas.
Sammy.
He had the audacity to see the divinity because he said he was motivated by the black power struggle in America, how we were standing up and fighting for civil rights. We influenced people all around the world. We helped motivate South Africans to throw off the De Beers. You see the point I'm making? Throw off the Europeans in South Africa. Our contribution as melanated people have helped African people all around the world, black people all around the world. And we're going to throw that away? To say we want to be more African? We want to be more part of elitism and tribalism? And they can't even get along in Africa. They refuse to ever have some of them refuse to have tribal unity. They refuse. This is my tribe. These are my people. I'll never be with you. This is the attitude that they have against each other in their own country. And now we're going to go take that on and say, you know what? I found my tribe. You found some bullshit. If you have not found Pan-Africanism and universal humanitarianism and compassion for all melanated people around the world, you have found absolutely nothing. Go ahead, brother.
No, bro. It goes deeper than that. That the fact that they're not thinking that they're in black. They don't accept people. You know what I mean? Just like Ethiopians don't accept people. How the Africans tried. Was not in the little tribal culture, the little tribal niche, the little tribal circle. They don't accept. That's the reason why the Tutsi could chop up the junta or whatever, chop them up and don't even care. Because in his mentality, he's not chopping up a human being, chopping up an animal. Chopping up an animal or a bug, you know what I mean? It kills that guy and don't even feel no way. You know, because I mean, because you know when you say that, you know, like they don't accept people. Each tribe don't accept the other. That's what that's the
point I'm making.
Yeah.
It's the very point I'm making. They don't accept, and we want to go learn that. So then you got so-called African Americans walking around as more African than their own people. Not realizing that true Africanism, for the lack of that bastard term, is communalism. There's certain principles that cross all the boundaries of tribalism. That's communalism. If you're not about community, you're not African. I don't care how many Swahili words you know, how many African language you know, how many Dajikis you got, how many African songs you can sing, how many Kwanzaa events you have went to. If you are not about community building on the most essential level of your reality, there is nothing African about you. You cannot practice American individualism, imperialism, and greed, and selfishness, and consumerism. You cannot practice that in an African way, because Africa was never about that. Do you see the point I'm making? Any tribe you go to, even today, you'll find communalism, communal concern, communal sharing in any of the societies. Now, they might be split between their tribes, but you'll find these common denominators with all these different tribes, with all of them, with all of the different tribes. So if we're not about community, we are not about being African. So I want to say that from being Afrocentric, I'm proudly being Black-rocentric. I want a Black-ro enlightenment. One that's going to enlighten me to be concerned about Black people all over the planet. And a philosophy and understanding that is going to embrace all of our brothers and sisters, no matter what part of the planet they come from. We don't even realize in Africa that people can flip tribes. I just found this out last week. That if you didn't agree with this tribe in Africa, you can go get in part of another tribe would accept you. So we're trying to accept this DNA. When white people trying to chase their DNA back to Africa with Oprah Winfrey, Wimp-free, a free wimp, they trying to trace their history through her and say that, oh, white people, I'm African too. But we don't realize that we trying to trace our history not thinking that we know who we are, but our history is also connected to what tribe we have affinity towards. Tribalism dealt with national affinity. We thinking it's all how you look. People chose how they was going to look. Do you understand the point I'm making? You can choose whether you're going to wear earring in this nose or bone in this nose or plate in your lips. You can choose how you're going to look. So tribalism then was fashion groups. Fashion gang banging. The hip-hoppers and the b-boys and the gangster rappers versus the hip-hop. It's the same thing. You can choose what tribe you want to be upon. Some of them were hunting animals, some of them were pastoral. You can choose whether you want to be in agriculture or whether you want to be hunting animals. You can choose what tribe you want. You can travel and be accepted by other tribes. So this whole notion of tribal Puritanism, being a tribal Puritan, this is an illusion. This is not a reality. So we're saying we don't know who we are because we believe in a tribal Puritanian doctrine. That's why I got to find my pure tribe of the people that got my exact blood.
And we all come from the same source.
And we all come from the same source. And those tribes were set up based upon figments of imagination in those times. I say we figure out now whether we're going to be with Yahweh ben Yahweh, who has just passed, peace and blessings be upon him, or whether we're going to believe what Farrakhan is saying, or whether we're going to believe what Kwame Ture is going to say. We decide which one are we going to believe, or whether we're going to be on the motivational side and go with Les Brown. But when you look at all of them, they all had prostate cancer. Nature is not discriminating on the importance of black health. Nature do not see these lines. And if nature does not recognize them, if you see them, you are not looking at it from a natural consciousness. Do y'all hear the point that I'm making? If nature does not see these elusive imaginary lines, then we are not using our natural consciousness. We're looking at it unnaturally. Because when that Katrina came through, was it trying to discriminate? Okay, you are African American. We get past you. You're Jamaican. You're Nigerian. Did Katrina care?
She did.
It didn't discriminate. Everybody who was there, nature saw all of them and dealt with them all equally. They all had equal rights, didn't they? A right to get ran or drowned. You got a right to run now or drown. So if nature does not discriminate, why is man discriminating? Some of the tsunami hit parts of Africa. Was it discriminating? I only hit this damn tribe. Well, they cool. I hit them. Nature don't care. But we have created these contextual